What's up everybody? My name is Anand from Underdog Strength, and today I want to share with you how to use MyFitnessPal for flexible dieting. Whether your goal is to gain weight or to lose weight or simply to maintain weight, MyFitnessPal is a great app to help you reach your goal. MyFitnessPal is my personal favorite fitness app. I've been using this app non-stop for over 5 years, and I was able to lose over 125 pounds using these flexible dieting techniques. And more importantly, I've actually kept the weight off for over 5 years. If you are not familiar with flexible dieting or the term IIFYM, flexible dieting simply means that you can eat based on your preferences. All of us have different food preferences based on culture. We may have food restrictions, we may have food intolerances. Taking into account all of these factors, we can eat according to our own preferences as long as we meet our daily calorie, protein, carbohydrate, and fat intake. We also keep track of our fiber intake to make sure that the quality of the food that we eat is good. And by good, I mean that it is rich in micronutrients. The term IIFYM stands for if it fits your macros, and macros simply refers to macronutrients. So you can eat the foods that you want as long as it fits your macronutrient needs and goals. I really love this app because first of all, it is a free app and most of the useful features are actually free. The second reason is that MyFitnessPal has got probably the largest database of foods that you can find. You can literally search for any food and you will find the nutritional information for that food. The app is also extremely easy to use. They even have a barcode scanner included. In case you don't want to search for a food, you can simply scan the food if it has a barcode and enter in your food diary that way. MyFitnessPal has also a great community where you can invite your friends and connect with your friends and keep track of each other's progress that way. They even have a great blog and a great forum. You can also keep track of your progress on MyFitnessPal. You can track your daily nutrition or your daily weight changes over time. And lastly, the app itself is compatible with a lot of different apps and a lot of devices such as the Fitbit. So if you're wearing a Fitbit, you can integrate Fitbit with MyFitnessPal. So how to use MyFitnessPal for flexible dieting? The first thing obviously that you're gonna have to do is to create a free account. You can either do this by using your email or you can sign up using Facebook. Step number 2 is to enter your personal information and goals. But by doing so, it will give us somewhat of an accurate picture about how we should proceed with this app. If you're not sure about your goals, I recommend that we start with using weight maintenance or maintain your weight as the goal for now, and we can always change this in the future. The third step is to actually start tracking. Even though right now we don't really know about our bodies yet, we can simply start tracking and learn about our bodies that way. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that don't change your diet just because you're tracking your calories and your macros. Just start tracking so that you actually learn how to track and get into the habit of tracking. Whatever food you eat, simply try looking it up on the database and try to find something that is accurate and enter the quantities that you actually ate. If you want to be really accurate with it, I would highly recommend that you get a food scale. And the reason for this is that most other forms of measurement are simply not accurate. For example, if you're eating peanut butter and the serving size of peanut butter is 2 tablespoons, if you were to actually weigh out the 2 tablespoons, which is about 32 grams on the label, you will be surprised at how off you are in terms of the actual quantities. If you're using only a spoon, you will most likely overconsume the quantities. Now that we get into the habit of tracking, we can go ahead and set our own goals, our calories and our macros. If you already been tracking your food, you have a good idea of how much food and how many calories you need to maintain your weight. If you've already done this, then you can simply go ahead and plug in this number as your calorie goals for each day. If you have no idea about your calories, you can simply click on the link in the description below and it will take you to a calorie calculator. You can enter your age, your height, your weight, and your activity level, and it will give you an estimated figure of how many calories you need in a day, whether your goal is to maintain weight, to gain weight, or to lose weight. Keep in mind that this number will most likely not be 100% accurate for you. The only real way to find out the accurate number is to actually track. But this number gives us a good starting point so that we can start tracking and adjust over time. Once you calculate your calories using the link in the description below, we can then use those calories and set up our macronutrients. Now, macronutrients have calories and they add up to your total calories. 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrate each have 4 calories per gram. 1 gram of fat has about 9 calories per gram, and 1 gram of alcohol has about 7 calories. First thing we should do is set up our protein intake. For most people, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight is more than enough protein that you need to build muscle. Now, if you're significantly overweight or obese, then you might want to consume even less, and you can plug in your lean body mass and calculate your protein intake based on your lean body mass. The second macro or macronutrient we can set after protein is our fat intake. Typically 0.3 to 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight is a good starting point for most people. And the remaining calories will come from carbohydrates. If a 200-pound male consumes 3000 calories to maintain his weight, then, and if he consumes 180 grams of protein, 80 grams of fat, then the remaining calories can come from carbohydrates. And if you do the calculation, this comes up to around 390 grams of carbohydrates that he can consume while maintaining his weight. If you want to gain weight or go on a lean bulk, you can add in anywhere from 200 to 300 calories on top of your maintenance calories, and most of these would come from carbohydrates and also a little bit of fat, and you can start gaining weight. If you want to lose weight and you want to lose about 1 pound of fat per week, you can go on a 500 calorie deficit and reduce your carbohydrates mostly and also your fat a little bit to make up for the caloric deficit. So once we have our calorie goals and our macronutrient goals, you want to go into MyFitnessPal and customize your goals. One thing about the free version is that you don't have the ability to set up custom macros by the gram, but that's okay. It's not really necessary. What I do personally is I set everything to 0 and then I just look at the totals at the end of the day. Next thing you want to do is you want to stay consistent. Learning how to calculate your macros and count your macros is a little bit of a skill, and which you will only get better over time. The goal ultimately is that you should be able to know your nutrition for the day without using the app. If you stick at it for long enough, you will definitely acquire these skills. The next thing you want to do is you want to keep track of your progress. I keep track of my progress in 2 ways. One is obviously I look at my actual lifts. I keep a training log and make sure that I'm making progress in the gym. The other things that I measure are my body weight and my body measurements. I weigh myself using a digital scale every single morning under the same conditions. That is, without eating or drinking anything and after using the bathroom. I then take a weekly average of my weight because the weight is gonna fluctuate every single day. And I compare my weekly averages from week to week to make sure that I'm on track to hitting my goals. I also measure my body measurements using something called a myo tape. This tape is really good because you can measure pretty much any body part by yourself. If you wanted to measure your arms, you can do that. You can simply slide in your arm and click the button. I will leave a link in the description below where you can find this exact scale that I use and the exact myo tape that I use. Now what happens when you don't make progress or you aren't making the correct rate of progress that you want? The thing you want to do is you want to make small adjustments over time. Don't do anything really drastic. What I mean by small adjustments is that, let's say you want to lose weight and you aren't losing a lot of weight. You can simply take out around 50 to 100 calories at a time until you start seeing progress again. Make sure that you're accurately tracking your progress. And lastly, you gotta have patience. Any fitness goal that you have, whether it's to gain strength, muscle, you want to lose weight, you just want to maintain weight, these things require a lot of patience because they will most likely take a lot longer time than you initially anticipate. Learn to enjoy the journey and focus on the actual process versus the outcome, because if you have put in the right processes, the outcome will ultimately follow. Make sure you click on the article in the description below, which goes into much more detail about how to use MyFitnessPal, and I've also included a lot of different screenshots which will make things a lot easier for you. If you like this content, please go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.